Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Due to COVID-19, Committee of Adjustment public hearings are being conducted virtually by electronic means through WebEx webinar, an online digital platform, and streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel. Participants who have registered in advance will be able to make their presentation to the committee using WebEx webinar, which is moderated by city staff. Anyone wishing to view the hearing may do so by watching on YouTube. My name is Isaac Laluz, and with me today is Ms. Atarode, Mr. Hunt, Mr. Khan, and Ms. Sankar. City staff moderating the platform and assisting us today are Simon Lamb, who is the Deputy Secretary Treasurer, Irving Bridgeraj, Sam Mozayani, and Chris Chu. Participants who have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone and have the option of participating via video or audio only. All participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, each participant will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you also mute your devices until you call on to speak. Those participants who are participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelists when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled and you will only be visible during your 5 minutes allocated time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Members of the public and applicants are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist controls during video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. Land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. In accordance with Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provision of the zoning bylaw, permission to extend or alter legal non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. Anyone in attendance today who wants to receive a copy of the committee on an application must submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because the Committee of Adjustment and the TLAB will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email only. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to Toronto local appeal body known as TLAB, or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal, OLT. However, the provincial government recently amended the Planning Act and generally removed the rights of third party to appeal Committee of Adjustment's decisions. As of November 28, 2022, only the appellant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons and public bodies as termed by the Planning Act are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. The hearing today, the procedure will be as follows. I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions and or take the matter directly for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when the 5-minute mark is reached. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to receive a notice are informed of the changes. Then individuals, either in support or in opposition, will be invited to speak. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has the chance to address only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion, and the application will then be taken to committee for decision. Now, for a morning session, we have a number of minutes to approve. A number of minutes for confirmation. So here we have Ms. Sankar is not around. So yeah, we'll go back to the number. Yeah, well, first of all, we have here the other ones. September. Remind me. Okay, so we have here the members and staff. Any conflict of interest to declare? No? Okay. Different requests. There is no files to close, Mr. Secretary? No. Okay. All right, so we'll proceed with the morning agenda. And in the morning agenda, we have a number of deferrals to address. And we have number one. Number one is Devanshi Mehta. Are you there? Devanshi Mehta.
I'm here. Good morning.
Okay, good morning. This is regarding the application of 107 Hollywood Avenue, and it shows here that you're asking for deferral. Could you please tell us the reason for the deferral?
Yes, good morning. My name is Devanshi Mehta. I'm from Evans Planning. I'm representing the owners of 107 Hollywood Avenue. We are requesting a deferral today as we are currently working with the staff on some inconsistencies with zoning notice and our requested relief. I would like to note that there would be no changes to the proposal,
Okay,
but there are some details.
Excuse me, we're not going to discuss anything about the proposal, whether it's changed or not. You're asking for deferral because you want to discuss with the staff as far as the zoning and so on. Okay, now I don't have anybody registered except you, so we'll ask the members. Members, there is nobody else except the agent asking for deferral in order to go and discuss with the planning as far as zoning, etc. Can I have a motion for deferral? Ms. Satarodi, please.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to defer this application, sine die, so that the applicant have enough time to discuss further with the city staff.
Thank you.
That's my motion.
Yeah, thank you, Sanidai. Second, Mr. Hunt seconding, all in favor? Okay, unanimous. Okay, your application is deferred, Sanidai, and please check with the staff when it's coming back.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Now, the next one asking for deferral is number 4, which is 34 RUMSEY Road. And here, number 4, we have Farhad Abdul Hadi. Name will appear on the PC. Okay, so we have here Farhad Abdul Hadi. Are you there?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, good morning. Could you please state your name and address for us, please?
Yeah, my name is Farhad Abdul Wahabi, the architect of the project.
Thank you.
I'm attending the hearing on behalf of my clients.
Thank you. You're asking for a deferral. Could you please tell us the reason for the deferral request?
We provided the different drawings and working with city staff regarding the zoning, drop some of the variances, and that's the reason we want to just make it clear to make no confusion for the neighbors and respect the neighbors.
Okay, very good. So in order to discuss the zoning with the staff. Now, we have a number of people registered here to speak and see if they're here, and just let them know the request and see what they have to say. So the first one is, we have here Brooke Bisco. Are you there? Or Valerie? Brooke or Valerie Bisco?
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, the voice is echoing a little bit.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, the voice here is echoing. I'm not sure.
I
if
heard
it's
you.
only-
I heard you. That is echoing. I don't know what to say. No, there's nothing. How
I'm
about
here.
now?
I'm on the line.
Okay. So could you please, did you hear what's happening here? The agent is asking for deferral, and meaning we're not going to discuss it today. When it comes back, then
That's fine.
you'll be advised. You're fine. Thank you. And
Thank
the
you.
next one is Dave Finney. Dave Finney or Dr. Alison Finney. Are you there?
Hello?
Yeah. Hi. Good morning. Could you please state
Yes, good morning.
Could you please state your
I
name and
understand
address?
what is happening, and I have no objection to the deferral.
Okay, and please, could you please state your name and address because it has to be recorded on the system?
Yes, David Feeney, 83 McRae Drive.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so you
Thank
have
you.
no problem with the deferral. And here we have the other one is Susan Bellingham. Are you there? Oh, just a second. There is Jocelyn.
hear me?
Huh? Okay, Susan Bellingham, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Okay. Do you heard what's happening? The agent is asking for deferral, meaning we're not going to discuss it today if we decide to defer it. Do you have any problem with that?
Yes. My concern with deferring is that we've all come together today to discuss the proposed changes, the various iterations of the proposed changes. And what I worry about is that we don't get a chance to come back because there are some very concerning items and variances that the city staff may consider to be minor, where the neighbors do not consider them to be minor.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, the committee will take that into consideration. So the fact that you have issues and you're not sure if you can attend next time. Okay, thank you. We'll be back to the decision. We have here Jocelyn Courcelle. Are you there? Jocelyn Courcelle.
McRae? Can you hear me?
Yeah, could you please, are you Jocelyn Courcelle?
That's correct. I am Jocelyn Courcelle from 79 McRae.
Thank you. And you heard what's happening. The agent is asking for deferral, and meaning if we...
Yeah, and we support the deferral.
Thank you. Thank you. The next one Next one is Mitch Buji. Are you there? Mitch Buji.
Yes, I'm here. It's Mitchell Bubelich.
Mitch Bublij. Okay. And your address is?
1601 Bayview Avenue. I'm representing Leaside Residents Association.
I see. Okay. So you're familiar with your deferral. This agent is asking for deferral. Are you okay with the deferral? And
Yes, we're good with the deferral. And I would just like to add that we're hopeful that the next iteration is something that is more in line with the official city plan and the Leaside character guidelines, which the city helped create in 2003.
I'm sorry.
And we would like to.
I can't discuss that. When the time comes, you'll be advised, and that will be discussed at that point. At this.
Yeah. Of course, I just want to make the point that there are so many people speaking against that. It was clear that this plan was unacceptable. But we're hopeful that the next iteration will be great, and we look forward to that.
You're representing the association as who's Mitch Budby?
Yeah, I'm a member of the Leaside Residents Association in good standing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, members, we have a request for deferral, and except one person who is having a problem with this, all of them are okay with the deferral. Can I have a motion? They're asking for deferral in order to discuss with the planning as far as the zoning and so on. Mr. Hunt has his hand first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Given that the majority of speakers attending today are in favor of the deferral and the request that the applicant be able to further discuss the issues with the neighbors and with planning staff, I move deferrals. Sine die.
Sine die, thank you. Second, Ms. Atarodi, all in favor? Unanimous. Okay, your application is unanimously deferred, and please check with the staff when it's coming back. Okay, so that's... Okay, next one is number 8. Number 8, which is 8 WAXWING Place. Application number 8. And here we have, as far as number 8, we have the agent, Marco Rotondo. Are you there? Mr. Rotondo, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, please state your name and address for us, please.
Marco Rotondo with Richard Wengel Architect, 102 Avenue Road, Toronto.
Thank you. So you're asking for deferral. Could you please tell us the reason for the deferral?
Yeah, we'd like some time to discuss further with planning. We received a negative planning letter with respect to a few of the variances. So we began a dialogue with them, and we'd like to continue that further to see if we can potentially revise the proposal and perhaps lessen some of the requests and
okay.
come to
okay, so to check with the staff and a possible revision. Okay, now we have
Correct.
a number of people who are recorded here, registered to speak. The first one is Rob Grand. Are you there? Rob Grand.
Hello?
Mr. Grant, yeah, could you please state your name and address for us?
Good morning. It's Rob Grand, 1 Waxwing Place.
Thank you.
And I will accept the deferral.
Thank you. Doris Bees. Doris Bees. Is Doris Bees around there?
Doris is here.
Yeah, hi. Could you please state your name and address?
Hi.
Yeah, your name and address, please.
Yes, it's Doris Beese. Doris Beese, B-I-E-S, 2
Yes.
Waxwing Place.
Thank you.
And I accept the deferral.
Thank you. Thank you. Next is Paul Burtnick. Are you there? Paul Burtnick.
Paul, you've been unmuted.
Mr. Burtnick, are you there? Okay, we'll come back to him. Mike Godava, are you there?
At 6 Waxwing Place.
Yeah, your name, please.
It's Mike Godawa. I live at 6 Waxwing Place, next door to the proposed house.
Thank you. And you heard what's happening. There is a request for deferral, meaning we're not going to.
Yes, I support this.
You're okay.
I'm okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming, Mr. Paul Burtnick. Are you there? Martin Levesque. Martin Levesque, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, your name and address, please.
My name is Martin Levesque. I live at 11 Waxwing Place.
Thank you.
And I have no objection. I have no objection to the deferral.
Thank you very much, and have a nice day. Now is just have the Paul Burtnick. Is he around?
Hear me?
Paul Burtnick.
Can you hear?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Could you please state?
Okay.
State your name.
Yes. Paul Burtnick. I'm direct next door neighbor at 10 Waxwing Place.
Thank you. And you know what's happening. You heard what's happening when the.
I heard what's I heard what's happening. I just have one request when the agent, Mr. Rotundro, comes back, and that is, he consider having a civil engineer and a technical study on with regard to the existing
I'm sorry,
dry well in the back.
I'm sorry, we're not discussing anything about the application. We defer it.
Okay.
It'll come next time.
Yeah.
And next time.
Okay, I accept the deferral.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, members, everybody spoke, so there is a request for deferral. Can I have a motion? A motion, please. Mr. Hunt, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At the request of the applicant to go back and further discuss this application with neighbors and with the planning department, I would move that this be deferred sine die.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Tarodi, all in favor? Okay, unanimous. Okay, Mr. Rotundo, your application is deferred sine die. So please check with the staff when it's coming back. Okay, so that's terminates the ones here. 8, 7. Okay, now we have, we go to the list and we have the number 2, which is 237 Newton Drive. And here we have Mehran Mehdari, are you there?
Of the committee, my name is Mehran Haidari.
And your address? Yeah.
1090 Don Mills Road, Unit 506, Norfolk, Ontario.
Thank you. So here we have a new dwelling. We have 9 variances, including 3-story and so on. There is recommendations from engineering, transportation, has no objections but conditions, and staff report has the, so could you please go over the application, the merit of it, and cover the staff report that they have the modifications that you indicated that you promised to change per applicant. So tell us the changes you want to make. Maybe you can go over the changes first. Tell us what you're changing to.
Sure. Thank you so much. So there is a change for Part B, minor variance application Part B, the variance number 2, the front yard setback is changing from 1 point. Yeah.
Number 2 is changing it to what?
Yes. Number 2. Yes, changing from 1.84 to 4.07 meter. And variance number 5 to be removed.
Okay.
And variance number 6, the proposed window encouraged is 3.99, changing to 2.25 meter.
Okay. Okay. That's it?
Yes.
Okay, so just to go over it because it wasn't a little bit clear. So number 2, you're changing from 1.84 to 1.80. Number 5 is being removed, and number 6 changed from 3.99 to 2.25. Correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, so please, you have 5 minutes and tell us the merit of the application, and there is no there is nobody other registered here to speak. So please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. As you see, the application is a consent application for severance and also minor variance. The consent application, if you see, it's a new development, is respect and reinforce the existing physical character of the neighborhood, and different sample is approved in the neighborhood, and I provided the sample sheet and the map, and you can see. And the staff report, we had the communication with the staff, and we changed the site plan for the Part B for satisfaction of the staff report, and the new site plan mentioning the improving the front yard setback, and also in the rear yard we had the deck facing to the neighbor's backyard, and we moved the deck from the west side to the south side to less negative impact for the development and for the neighbors' satisfaction. And so I agree with the site plan, the site plan for Part B application, and also the tying the side elevation for the Part A for minor variance application of the Part A, and I'm with the favor of the condition of the engineering department also, and if there is any question, I'm more than happy to answer.
That's it?
Yes.
Okay. Members, there is no other speaker here, just the agent. So please, any question? If no question, can I have a motion then? Mr. Khan, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, sir, I would like to, after listening the applicant, I am of the opinion that variances have been modified, and with that having no staff recommendation, I would move that this application be approved with engineering construction conditions.
Yeah, you want to cover the changes he made, like number 2, number 5, number 6?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. So you want me to say it? Number 2 is changing to 1.80. Number 5 is removed. And number 6 is changed to 2.25.
That's right, sir.
And there is a staff report recommendations.
Mr. Chair?
You want to cover that? There is standard conditions and there is modification per applicant, okay? And bid to build per east side elevation drawings.
Mr. Chair, can I just verify the change to variance 2, please? Can I verify the change to variance 2, please?
Number 2 is from 1.84 to 1.80. That's what he said.
That's not what it says on. Can we bring that up, please?
Yeah, okay. What's his name? Mehdi. Mr. Medari, could you come back, please?
Mr.
Yeah,
Chair,
I'm here.
it's on the
Actually,
Yeah.
I raised my hand, so it's changed to 4.07 meter.
Could you please cover? You're not speaking very clear. Could you please cover number 2? What change you making it to?
Changing from 1.84 to 4.07 meter.
4.80. 4.80.
It's on the screen, Mr. Chair. It's 4.047.
It's too far. I don't see it. Oh, okay. 4.07. Eh? Okay.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. Okay. So, Mr. Khan, you wanna?
Yes, sir.
Are you okay with that?
4.07 is right.
Number 2 is changed from 1.84 to 4.80, 0.07, right? 4.07. 4.07. Number 5 is removed, and number 6 is changed to 2.25. But then there is.
That's right, sir.
But then there is standards conditions from the staff. Standards condition for severance. Are you okay with that?
That's right, sir. Yes.
And then they say to develop east side elevation drawings.
Yeah.
Okay, you're okay with that? Okay.
That's right, sir. I'm okay.
Okay, do I have a second, please? Do you have a second? Yeah, Ms. Sankar, second. All in favor? Opposed? Ms. Attarodi is opposing. Okay, so, sir, your application is approved based on those changes you made and subject to standard conditions and to the condition of the staff to build per east side elevation drawing. Okay?
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, member of the committee.
You're welcome. Okay. Number 3, we have 19 Bryan Cliff Drive, application number 3. And here we have Peter Higgins. Are you there?
And committee?
Yeah.
This is Peter Higgins, architect, 69 Douglas Drive, Toronto, Mary 4, Walter 2, Bob 2.
Thank you. Please cover your, we have, this is a second story deck. Could you please cover the presentation so we can move for the decision?
Certainly. Thank you for your time. This project is a project that I was not hired to provide services for site review. So to my surprise, the clients called to say that the inspector was not going to close off the permit because we needed a permit. They needed a permit for the deck on top of a covered porch, and the it turns out when we went to inspect and measure and photograph that they had basically utilized most of the covered terrace roof and put up a large upper deck off the master bedroom. Now, there are no letters on file. We did reach out to all neighbors. None of them had any problem with what had been built. They quite appreciated the fact that there was frosted glass on the nearest side to the nearest neighbor, and so there was no issue of overlook. The backyard is heavily treed, so the neighbors to the rear, 3 of them had no objection because they couldn't even see this. At least 2 of the 3 couldn't see the deck at all. And unfortunately, our clients listened to the builder, who said it would be easier to just build on top of the entire structure, and so they went ahead with that without my knowledge. But they did ask me, since I took this project through Committee of Adjustment, that they would ask that I would represent them at the committee to get approval for the deck, which is larger than it's allowed to be. So I would say, given that none of the neighbors have said a peep, and nor has the councillor, to my knowledge, nor has planning put in a letter, and there was great expense paid to build this and waterproof it, make it safe, and make it private from the neighbors. I would hope that the committee would allow this to remain in place. Yes, thank you for showing those photos.
Okay, thank you. Okay, members, any questions? Mr. Higgins, this deck is in place already, is built, right?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay.
Mr.
All right,
Chairman.
thank you. All right, so members, any question? If not, can I have a motion then? Could I have a motion there, please? Ms. Atarodi?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application.
Thank you. There is no there's no condition, nothing.
No other.
Can I have a second, please? Second? There is no second. Okay, it falls. So do I have another motion then? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you, sir. After listening, Mr. Higgins, I find these 2 variances are not actually minor in nature. Second story platform area 39.91, exceeding the allowable 4 meters square. And the second variance is also encroaching on the setback, so which is not allowed. So I don't think these are 2 minor variances. Therefore, I move that these variances be refused.
I'm sorry, you said what? You're refusing it?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, do I have a second? Mr. Hunt seconding. All in favor? Opposed? Ms. Atarodi is opposing. Mr. Higgins, sorry, the application is refused.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure what my clients will do about this other than perhaps appeal it. But thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, number 5, which is 49 GRANTBROOK Street, application number 5. And here we have Mr. It said the agent not registered. Is that Rock Kim?
Yeah, Rock Kim.
Yeah, hi.
Yep.
Could you please state your name?
Hi.
State your name and address,
Rock.
please.
My name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Rock Kim. 386 Young Street, Unit 1402, Toronto.
Thank you. Okay, so this is to alter existing driveway. We have 2 variances regarding the landscape. Staff report is asking to refuse it, and there is some letters of support. Okay, so can you please make your presentation, and then we move on to to the decision. Tell us what's
Yeah, at the first time we were trying to make the two access because this is at the T John Street, right at the front of the house. There is another street, Calderon Crescent. So it's kind of a lot of traffic in there. So we saw that the staff reports. So we are trying to remove the new driveway. I already sent the revision drawing. We're gonna remove new driveway and then, but we still need a right at the front, like the T-shape driveway. The owner can go and then move back and then go to the front. So we're gonna remove the number 2 of the comment. I think that's new revision drawing, yes. So we're gonna remove the number 2 of the new driveway part. And then number 1, the landscape, we're gonna increase up to 50%.
Now you're changing the variance number 1 to
Number 1,
to 50%.
50% of the soft landscape area. And number 2 is removed.
Okay, so we have just one variance, 50%, right?
That's correct.
Okay, there is nobody else here to speak, so that's all. Are you finished here? Number 5? No, hold a second.
Yes, I'm done.
Number 5, no, okay, yeah. Okay, so members, we have the application. He's changing number 1 to 50%, and he's removing number 2. Can I have any question? Ms. Atarodi?
To you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with the following changes. Variance number 1, the proposed front yard landscaping area is 50%, and the variance number 2 to be removed and subjected to urban forestry condition.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Sankar, all in favor? And opposed? Mr. Khan is opposing. Okay, sir, your application is approved, subject to forestry and the changes you made.
Thank you.
Okay, number 6, which is 59 Teddington Park, application number 6. And here we have Mr. David Bronskill. Are you there?
Morning, Mr. Chair. David Bronskill, Goodman's LLP, 333 Bay Street, Suite 3400 in Toronto, Ontario, appearing as the agent for the applicant.
Thank you. Okay, so we have here what, 3-story, new 3-story, 3 variances. Staff report has a condition. There are 6 letters of objection, 1 letter of support, and councillor letter express concern. So, can you please go over the application, tell us what the merit of it?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I'm going to start just quickly with the staff report. There is a recommended condition. We are supportive of that condition being imposed. And in fact, I think there's an email from planning staff where they asked for a small change to that condition. We're supportive of that as well. The change, the condition as reads, it would be that the building length and depth be developed in accordance with the site plan and site elevation drawings attached to the report. The email asks that it be the site plan, rear elevation, and side elevation drawings attached to. And Mr. Chair, we're fine to have the additional plan included as a condition, that is the rear elevation. We are supportive of including that. The reason for that condition, because otherwise planning staff have indicated no concerns. Why they have requested the condition, and we discussed this explicitly with them and in fact recommend it, is that the two of the three variances related to length and depth measure along to the back wall. And as you can see on the site plan, it's actually to the back, therefore, of the covered terrace. And so it's the underground portion. I know this committee has dealt with many of these variances in the past where the actual building itself meets the 17 meters. There's a small portion extending beyond for a one-story breakfast room, but the 23.33 meter building length actually is because of the excavation under the covered terrace. And so it's a condition that would prevent any additional mass of the building other than as shown on the site plan. So the three-story dwelling couldn't be any longer than 17. The additional one-story couldn't extend or be moved except where it's located. It's an appropriate condition to ensure that the massing isn't pushed any further back on the site. That deals with two of the variances, Mr. Chair. There's also a variance for FSI. We have looked at the letters. There does appear to be what I would call a concern about the number. I think as this committee knows, I often respond both on the quantitative and qualitative side when it comes to planning based on numbers. The quantitative side, we did, and it's in the package at page 3, look at numbers in the area. There is a range of approvals. Some are in the 0.4s, some are around 0.55. On Teddington Park, further to the west, there is 62.8. But in the broader neighborhood, there's a similar range again into the mid 5s, and along Snowden as an example, 69, 70, 65, 64, 67, 63. Just purely as a number, we don't think the 63 is offside what numbers that are being improved, frankly, in the area. We think the more important analysis for the committee, if I could urge it upon you, is back on the site plan with thanks to staff. This is a house where otherwise there are no variances to the main portion of the building. That is the side yard set. You see the red outline. The side yard setbacks are not being varied. Height is not being varied. It's 17 meters, as I indicated, to the main portion of the house. That's not being varied. And then there's a one-story portion that extends out the back. To put it another way, there aren't any walls being located where the zoning bylaw doesn't otherwise contemplate walls, and they're not any taller than otherwise contemplated by the zoning bylaw. And as this committee knows very well, policy 4.1.8 in the official plan speaks to those performance standards in the zoning bylaw, leading to a built form that is compatible with the physical character of the neighborhood. So I do think the number fits in the range of approval, but I think more importantly, that number as deployed on the site results in a built form that is compatible and respects the existing physical character of the neighborhood. Condition, as noted, is important to ensure that,
Sir,
and we'd urge the committee to impose that
can you
condition.
please summarize? You're getting close to your 5 minutes.
Mr. Chair, that was in fact the last thing I was going to say, other than I'm here to answer any questions the committee may have.
Thank you. We have a number of speakers here that registered to speak. And the first one is Terry Mills. Are you there? Terry Mills. Mr. Mills, are you there?
Oh.
Hi. Could you please repeat your name and address for the system to be recorded?
Yes, my name is Terry Mills, and my address is 101 Roehampton Avenue, Toronto.
Thank you.
And I'm a planner retained by the neighbor and the association.
Thank you. Just tell us the concern about this application.
Yeah. I was hoping we could bring up the map we saw previously in Mr. Bronskill's presentation showing the FSI. Thank you very much. If you could just sort of center that. You know, I think that you know, when we're looking at the OPA, or sorry, Official Plan 4.1.5, they talk about how a building, new building must fit the existing physical context and respect and reinforce it. And I just want to bring to your attention here that in the broad area, which they describe, there's quite a difference between Teddington Park, the character of the street and the properties on it, lot sizes, you're relative to, say, Snowdon. And on Snowdon, which allows 9-meter wide properties, and they're shallower than on Teddington, that's where we see all these circled FSIs. And in my opinion, that's in the broad area, although if you go through OP 4.1.5, it says if there's a disparity between the broad area and the immediate area, then you prefer the immediate area. So I don't see those as being relevant down there. Again, it was identified there's one property on Teddington, which does have a 62.8 FSI, and that's a very small lot nearer to Yonge Street. In fact, that lot is even shallower than is actually permitted anywhere in the zoning bylaws, less than 30 meters deep. And usually on small lots, that's where you do see higher FSI. Whereas we're dealing with a lot here that is 21 meters wide, and it has a depth of 56 meters, which again, that depth is greater than anything we see on the next street to the south being Golfdale, where they're 40 meters. And again, on Golfdale, we don't see anything higher than there is one at FSI 0.6. So again, if we're looking at Teddington, we find that there are no, other than the one mentioned, they're all less than 0.6 to start with. And in fact, my letter, I talk about the average along Teddington, and they are less again. I have also a chart I put in where I went through my analysis of the area in detail. Maybe we want to bring that up from my letter. Anyway, but ultimately I went through the process provided for doing a neighborhood analysis. And, the immediate block is the Teddington Park between Bowcastle and, that's further down part. And Mount Pleasant. I also included, as that is required, the adjacent blocks as well. So in other words, I looked at the whole of Teddington Park Avenue, and there we see the chart provided and the mapping at the top, which identifies the FSI of those houses. And I then looked in my bottom left-hand box. At the bottom, I looked at within the immediate block, the FSIs that were there in order of address, and on the right I ranked them in terms of from the smallest to the largest. And the average we have within the immediate block, if we keep to the left again, is 0.45 for the average FSI on the street. And then if you slide upwards above you can just scroll up to that diagram there, I have shown, the tops of the immediate block and the average of 0.45. And I've shown in purple what the ask is, which is 0.63. And in my opinion, that does not represent a gradual and appropriate fit to the neighborhood. It certainly doesn't provide for, to respect and reinforce existing physical character in the neighborhood. And as my opinion, I cannot see how this first test of the 4 tests, can be seen as passed. This is a very large building, and it's interesting. It's on a very large lot.
Sir, I ask
and
you to please summarize. Please summarize. You're getting close to your 5 minutes.
Okay, we'll do. So, we're ending up here. We have a very large lot, and it's really questionable as how one can therefore be asking for, a largest FSI. Thank you.
Thank you. Any question for the speaker? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, sir, my question to Mr. Mills is, did you had the opportunity of discussing your concern with the developer?
Did not have that opportunity.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other question? Okay. Next is David Stewart. Are you there? David Stewart.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, could you please state your name and address for the system?
Yeah, David Stewart at 77 Gulfdale Road.
Thank you. So tell us what's your concern about this application.
Yes, I'm on this call as a representative of the Teddington Park Residents Association. I'm on the board of that association. And I've lived for 34 years on Gulfdale Road and very familiar with the neighborhood. Speaking on behalf of the association, one of our roles is to protect the character of the neighborhood over the long term and to ensure that builders do not focus solely on the economic interests, their own economic interests in the short term. The neighborhood has to live with the outcome of every new build for the indefinite future. This is one of those moments that will shape the character of the neighborhood, and there's no going back once these are built. It'll affect our generation and future generations. It is on our shoulders to get it right at this moment. The TPRA, Teddington Park Residents Association, speaks for the neighborhood at large, since an excessively large build in this particular case would set a negative precedent that will affect future builds on other properties. We don't feel this is a minor variance. The proposed FSI of 0.63 far exceeds the building mass and FSI that meets the specifications of section 4.1.5 of the official plan. It is an oversized outlayer on Teddington Park, where FSIs in the immediate context range between 0.48 and 0.51. The building depth is, with the addition on the back, is longer than the 17-meter length permitted under the existing bylaw. The proposed plans present significant privacy issues for 63 Teddington Park. And the building mass and scale affects everyone and should conform to the character of the neighborhood. We feel the proposal falls on all 4 planning tests. The variances are not minor. The proposal is not desirable. The general intent and purpose of bylaw 469-2013 is not maintained. And the general intent and purpose of the official plan is not maintained. The association is objecting to this application on the basis of the planning evidence prepared by Terry Mills, the letters of objection prepared by 17 property owners in close proximity, as well as the letter of objection from Jay Robinson, the city councillor for Don Valley West. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Any question for this speaker? Okay, the next one is Martha Torrey. Are you there? Martha?
You hear me?
Yeah, hi. Could you please state your name and address, please?
My name is Martha Torrey, and I live at 63 Teddington Park Avenue.
Okay. Do you agree with what has been said, or do you have something different?
No, I would like to add to the presentations that have been made, if you can, if that is possible.
Please go ahead.
So I live next door to 59 Teddington. I've lived in this neighborhood my whole life, and I bought my home on Teddington 37 years ago. At the time, I felt very fortunate to be able to buy a home in what was perhaps the nicest street in the neighborhood, with its lovely homes and unique boulevard down the center of the street. And I believe it's very important to preserve the things that make this street so special. In presenting to you this morning, I believe I'm speaking for the 17 residents who wrote letters of objection, along with the local residents association and the local councillor, Jay Robinson. I will not repeat the details related to the FSI variances being requested by the applicant. They've already been addressed by the earlier presentations. But as you will have seen from the letters of rejection, neighbors are unanimous in believing that the variances being requested are definitely not minor. The home being proposed is much too big and its built form is very inconsistent with the other houses on our block. The houses on our block are not as tall and they're not as wide. They're generally not built lot line to lot line as proposed in this application. We have lot sizes that are large compared to other streets in our neighborhood, so that homes can be built that meet the needs of families without overwhelming the lot. As I said, the neighbors are unanimous in opposing this proposed new home. There's only one letter of support. It's from a couple who I don't believe have actually moved onto the street with their family. They are the new owners of the home across the street from 59 Teddington. They brought an application to the Committee of Adjustment last year for a new very large home similar to what is being proposed for 59 Teddington. Their proposal was rejected by the committee. It's not surprising that they would support this application. If their appeal is turned down by TLAB, approving this application establishes a precedent that would provide support for them to bring another proposal for a home that is larger than the prevailing norms. As others have said, approving this application sets a very bad precedent. In the applicant's Committee of Adjustment application for 59 Teddington, in response to the question, why is it not possible to comply? The answer is that the development is constrained by the size of the lot. The 59 Teddington lot is one of the largest on our block, as has been pointed out, so that it should be possible to build a reasonably sized home that is consistent with the built form and prevailing norms for FSI. In fact, I would think that the larger lot size would suggest that the house should have a smaller FSI compared to other smaller lots. For example, the 59 Teddington lot is 40% bigger and 12% wider than my lot. My FSI is 37. Why is it reasonable to put the largest house on the largest lot? The applicant has submitted a map, as Terry has taken you through, presumably to demonstrate that their request is reasonable, since other houses have been approved with FSIs in excess of 63. However, as you've seen, the map indicates that the only houses with an FSI in excess of 63 are on Snowden Avenue, which, as Terry pointed out, has significantly smaller lot sizes. Their lots are close to half the size of 59 Teddington. I do not believe that the larger FSIs on Snowden in any way justify a similar FSI on Teddington. It is an apples to oranges comparison. An issue that's very specific to me is the adverse impacts that the proposed home creates for my property. As I point out in my letter, there is a large cedar tree and smaller trees that completely block the view from my patio into the backyard of the current home. The proposed plan will result in removing these trees, resulting in there being no privacy screen between the back corner of the proposed building and my patio. The loss of mature trees is never a good thing. As well, the proposal will likely create drainage and stormwater issues. In conclusion, I do not believe the variances being requested are minor. The proposed home is too big. It does not reinforce the existing physical character of the neighborhood and results in establishing a new norm inconsistent with the current build form of the street. And as a result, I hope that you will turn down this application. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, you're in your timing perfect. Are you a planner by any chance? You made a good presentation.
No, I am not. I'm an auditor, an accountant.
That's good. Okay, Mr. Bronskill, could you come back, please, and address these concerns?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Oh, sorry. Are there more speakers, Mr. Chair?
No, there's no more speakers. No, just for Miss Torrey, I forgot to ask the members if they have any question for her. Okay, no. So please go ahead, Mr. Bronskill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So urban forestry, we looked, are not recommending any refusal, and I don't even believe there are any conditions from urban forestry for this matter, Mr. Chair. I could be wrong on that, but that's my recollection. And looking at the urban forestry memo is that there was no check mark. So I don't think there's anything here related to trees that's under the ambit of urban forestry. I would ask if staff could put up the front elevation, because I wanted to respond just a little bit in terms of, this somehow being a pivotal moment for the neighborhood and the character of the neighborhood. Sorry to staff, it's in the presentation on the last page, but that one's fine too. The front elevation is fine too, either of them that you have. The front elevation, if you look at it, there are no variances associated with that front elevation. No side yard, no height, no main wall height variances. That front elevation is in fact exactly what the zoning bylaw contemplates as permitted in the neighborhood and is fundamentally consistent, therefore, with the contemplated character of the neighborhood. The main opposition appears to be related to density in the numbers, and there is ample recent case law from the Toronto Local Appeal Body that says you should not plan based only on numbers. The numbers don't give you a true and always fair characterization of the character of the neighborhood. It's not to say they're not relevant. They are. And that's why I gave you both a quantitative and qualitative analysis as part of my earlier presentation that I won't repeat for you. But from looking at that elevation, you see the two dormers for the third floor. And again, there's no variance for height. There's no variance for the number of stories. If the committee were to turn down the FSI, that elevation is still what would be built. The FSI for the second and ground floors only are 52.65% or 0.5265, a density number that Mr. Mills indicated would be appropriate for this neighborhood. The key issue for you, I would submit to the committee, is there is some additional density in that third floor, 123 square meters. It brings the FSI up to 0.63. Is that going to destabilize the neighborhood when you look at that elevation, when in fact the elevation would remain unchanged? It would just be unusable space behind the dormers. I'd submit to you the answer to that question is no. The neighborhood will remain stable. And that's in addition to my earlier comments, Mr. Chair, in terms of the length and depth, is that the three-story home meets the 17 meters in the bylaw. It's just the one story that extends partially behind. And in fact, the main portion of the length and depth is the excavated portion underneath the terrace. So I actually think this is, frankly, for the committee, a relatively simple and innocuous application, which is a built form that largely meets the bylaw. It's just the density resulting from it is a number that appears to be alarming to people in the neighborhood. The last thing I would just say, Mr. Chair, is FSI, I think as this committee well knows, isn't about lot size. FSI is about relating the proposed density to the size of the lot. That is, we're not regulating coverage here, we're not regulating the GFA, we're relating how the size of the home relates to the size of the lot. A smaller lot means a smaller home, a larger lot means a larger home. The neighborhood includes Snowden, Golfdale, and Teddington Park. All of those streets, while they may have different frontage, minimum frontage requirements, they have the same density requirement. And so the smaller homes on Snowden still have the smaller lots on Snowden still have a 0.35. Larger lots on Teddington, for example, east of Mount Pleasant, still have a 0.35, even though their minimum frontages are 22.5. And so that's why we have to look at all of the neighborhood. So quantitatively, the number fits in the range. But the last thing I'll say, Mr. Chair, is I think we have to come back to the qualitative aspect and understand that the elevation on the screen fits in the neighborhood and the density will not impact what will eventually be delivered. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm then happy to answer any questions, of course.
Thank you. Yeah, you're exactly on your 5 minutes. Perfect. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Any question for the agent? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, sir, I would ask, although the presentation has been made very intelligently and skillfully by Mr. Bronscale, but one thing I would like to know, which Mr. Mills has raised earlier. Sir, I would like to appreciate to know what is the height, although you have not applied for the height of the building, but what is the actual height of the building with 3 stories?
11 meters, sir.
Does it meet the zoning bylaw?
It does, sir. There's no variance. And if the staff report is one way to find it or the plans are another way to find it, that 11 meters, Mr. Chair, is all, sorry, through you, Mr. Chair, is also only for a portion of the ultimate roof height, because there are sloped portions to it. And so the 11 meters is in fact measured from established grade to the top of that roof. There are then some sloping portions where not all of that third floor, in fact, takes up the 11 meters. That is, it's not a box that extends the 17 meters to the top of roof height. And we could pull up any of the elevations for you, sir, if it's helpful for you to see that. But there is no height variance. And importantly, sir, there's no main wall height variance either, because I have presented projects to this committee where there's no height variance, but there's a main wall height variance where the pairs of the walls exceed the maximums. That's not before you either. So again, that elevation, any of the elevations, are in fact directly in accordance with what the bylaw would permit.
Thank you. Okay.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I would advise that the maximum height allowed is 10 meters. And also Teddington Park Avenue does not have this character which has been proposed.
No, Mr. Chair, that's incorrect. The 569/2013 has been amended to add a meter. It's 11 meters. There is no height variance before you. The 11 meters is permitted by the zoning bylaw today.
Yeah. Okay, let's not argue with that. We have 3 variances in front of us. So please concentrate on those, and Ms. Sankar has her hand. Please go ahead.
Yes, I'm ready for a motion, Mr. Chair.
Please, go ahead.
Yeah, so, I've listened to this really carefully, and I think that, Mr. Bronskill, while he's made quite a bit of really good points around this, I still think upon, knowing the neighborhood and hearing from the association, as well as the numbers of folks that actually live there, know what they're talking about, I don't think that there is discrepancies around what I'm seeing before me. And, I'm still not comfortable, and I don't feel that this does meet the 4 tests. So I motion to refuse this application.
Thank you. Ms. Sankar to refuse. Second, do you have a second? Mr. Khan seconding. All in favor? Opposed? Mr. Opposing, so we have only 2 against 1. I don't see the 4th one. So, sir, your application is refused. And
Mr. Chair, I apologize. Ms. West Hadarodi West was here for my presentation. I don't know if she recused herself.
Ms. Sankar.
Sorry, Mr.
I apologize for intruding to both of you.
No, thank you very much. I had an audio issue and I reset my computer. So I just, sorry, I didn't hear Ms. Nadine's motion. So
you can't.
I had motioned to refuse the application.
Okay, let's go over it. Ms. Sankar to refuse, and it was 2, and Mr. Hunt is against. So we have 2 against 1. What's your motion? What's your motion, Ms.?
So the motion is to refuse the application, and I am against this motion to refuse this application.
So you want against the motion? Okay, all right. So then we need another motion then. Sorry. No. Well, here. Yeah, it's a tie. 2 against 2. Huh? Yeah, there is 2 against 2, and I had 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. So I'm looking at the application itself. We have the 3 variances.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, can I just confirm, Ms. Adarodi, that you heard enough of the evidence
What's
to
that?
vote?
Repeat what you said.
I'm asking Member Adarodi, because we didn't see her on screen, if she heard enough of the evidence to vote, or should she abstain from voting?
Well, she. Yeah, go ahead.
So
please.
sorry to you, Mr. Chair. To the time that I have my camera, I could hear the evidence, but I didn't hear the last part when I disconnected. Like shortly before I disconnect, I couldn't hear. That's why I disconnect.
Okay, so we have, so we have two against, two for against the motion. I mean, two to refuse, and two are not for refusal. So I'll have to make the decision. What I'm saying is that we have three variances, and in my notes I put here that the length was really too high. The FSI I wasn't too concerned about, but the length of the buildings I had concern with it, and based on the general concept of what's happening and the counselor and all that stuff, I'll vote for the motion to refuse the application.
It's on the length.
Okay, so the application is refused, and now we have number 7. Okay, number 7, which is 120 Hendon Avenue, application number 7, and here we have it said here the owner applicant did not register. Who's here for Suvik? Is there an agent here? Him here. Okay, Suvik Mukherjee. Mr. Mukherjee, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, can you please state your name and address for us?
Sovik Mukherjee, 120 Hendon Avenue.
Okay, and here we have, this is a parking modifications. We have.
No, it's garden suite.
Sorry?
Garden suite.
Yes, okay, it said here, the application said the parking modification, which I understand is a garden suite. And here we have 2 more people who are registered to speak, so we'd like you to make your presentation and see what the other people are saying. I understand there are people who are to speak, including the counselor, who's asking for a deferral, but we'll hear what you have to say first.
Thank you. If you could please go to my presentation. And hello, committee members. I have a lot to get through, so I'll just get started. If you can please go to the first page. So is this my presentation or is this my plans? There should be a supporting material. Yeah. That's not the support. Can you scroll down, please? This is the wrong document. Sorry, if you could please stop the time and get the right document. There's something else uploaded to the AIC, which the first page is site plan with a red square. Yeah, could you just go to 1, 2, 3, 4, page 16, just to make sure it's the right one? Yeah, this is the right one. Okay. If you could just please reset my time and I'll start now. Ms. Ataradi's disappeared. Should I wait?
Mr. Chair, can I request that the speaker
There we go,
continue with his presentation?
What's that?
May I request that the speaker continue with his presentation?
Yeah, okay. I'm the owner of 120 Hendon Avenue. I have a lot to get through. This is my third time here for a similar structure, twice for ancillary structure. The first one was not passed. Second one was passed at this committee for a flat roof structure. It went to TLAB. I did not spend $20,000 on a lawyer at TLAB, so that failed. I'm now here for a garden suite. At the end of the previous TLAB application, garden suites became legal. I tried to convince the city solicitor to salvage the old application and convert it to a garden suite. He said, absolutely not. It must be a brand new application for garden suite from scratch. This is why I'm here with a brand new application from scratch. I currently have a 2-story detached garage. You'll see a picture of it soon. I'm trying to convert it to a garden suite. The next page, please. You'll see it that is in green. And the current one is in green in front of you. And the black one is what I'm trying to build on the new proposal. The current one is on the lot line, and I'm trying to move it away from the lot line. If you go to the next page, please. And the next one. Yep, next one. You'll see there's an elevator on the top left there. That's accessibility. This is the top floor. There's an elevator, there's a bathroom, there's a kitchen. By the time you put your bed and sofa and TV, there's not much room left. I'm not building a huge area, just a modest studio suite. If you go to the next page, please. Next page. Next. Next. The yellow there, the yellow triangles is what we're looking at, which is the angle planes. That person there is about 6 feet tall. You just need some room to move, right? So this is why it's a flat roof structure. And if you go to the next page, please. This is from the rear, the Gaslight Court view. It's green because there's cedar hedges there. They exist. They've been there for about 40 years. The yellow is the angular planes that I'm looking for. And this would be covered by cedar hedges, which is already there. Next page, please. This is from the 118 Hendon view. The angular plane, again, top right, that yellow triangle. This is the space that that person would be using. This is what I'm asking for approval for. Next page, please. This is from the west side. Again, there's cedar hedges on that side. They exist. That yellow in the top left, that should extend up into the HVAC enclosure a little bit. I'm sorry about that, but you get the idea. I'm just asking for a little bit of variance there, minor variance. Next page, please. This shows you 2 peaks, right? One at the front, one at the back. The one at the front is about 6 meters tall. The one at the back is about 6.7 meters tall. I can't go upstairs. I measure, there's raccoon poop everywhere. I'm lowering the current structure. That's about 6.7. I'm going to 6 meters on the new structure. Next page, please. This is the most interesting one. The green one is what I can build right now. No minor variances required. Current structure. The one on the left, the blue, is what I'm trying to build with the flat roof. Next page, please. That's from, you can see the cedar hedges on the top right. That's what currently exists. Next page, please. Next page, please. This is the current windows on the right side. I'm Xing them out and I'm replacing them with glass block so you can't see through. On the left side, you'll see the big X. That's what's going to be removed. And the glass block is what's going to be added in. So increasing privacy. Next page, please. Shadow studies have been done to death. There's as of right, there's current, there's new, there's no shadow issues between what I'm trying to build and what's as of right with the current structure. Next page, please. Next one. Raccoons is an issue. There's City of Toronto guidelines, Toronto Public Health saying that raccoons are not good. Don't go near them. They're all over the structure. And next page is the last point is the rear side lot.
Please summarize. We have the other people to speak, and we come back to you. Okay?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm increasing privacy, lowering the height, and the rear setback. If my lot size was 45 meters, it would be 1.5. I'm 46.6. I'm just over. So that's why I'm asking for the rear setback.
We'll get you back. Okay? We have here Steve Kang. Are you there? Steve Kang.
Yes, my name is Steve Kang. I'm the property owner at 118 Hendon Avenue.
Okay, so please tell us what your concern and what you'd like to see.
Sure. So I guess I could just read through. Yes, you can pull up my document if you want, but I'll just go ahead. I'm the property owner at 118 Hendon Avenue, where I reside with my family. My property is immediately adjacent to the east property line of 120 Hendon Avenue. I have nearly 10 years of professional working experience as architectural designer at various architectural firms. I'm currently a senior architectural designer at a leading Toronto-based architectural firm. I'm well familiar with the site due to my involvement in both Committee of Adjustment and the TLAP hearings, as the applicant mentioned, with respect to the similar application since 2020. I'd like to reiterate that I support Garden Suite implementation as housing policy for the city. However, I object the subject application based on the following reasons and evidence. So. The issues in matter here is that the description of the application seems to be confusing because the application seeks to move existing garage off lot line and convert to garden suite, height of 6.0, floor area nearly 60 square meter. Respecting the existing footprint and area, the description, which is written by the applicant, says the floor area is approximately 56 square meter, which is smaller than the current. In my opinion, it should not be deemed as conversion, given it not only seeks to move its location, but it also expands in area, along with an addition of full height basement at 3.3 meter, which is nearly 11 feet tall. Simon from the Committee of Adjustment advised that the committee may consider a deferral given the description appeared to indicate something other than proposed, therefore causing some confusion. I'll leave this up to the committee. Furthermore, I look at the definition in the bylaw for lawful, and lawful is under in chapter 800 definition, says it includes existing or authorized on or before February 3, 2022. Given the description, given that he wants to move the structure, which is likely demolish the existing structure and build a new one, it is my opinion that it should be deemed as a new construction. Regardless of the type, the application should stand before the four tests prescribed by Section 45 of the Planning Act. For conversion, it is a matter of whether the modified area, height, and the massing would satisfy the four tests. If new construction, it too should satisfy the four tests. I want to reiterate that minor variance is not about a compromise or negotiation process. It's not about I made this much compromise from the existing structure, therefore I should be granted for this kind of minor variances. So now I move on to the four test. So under OP, official plan, policy number 670 for neighborhood, it has criteria such as will limit privacy and overlook issues on adjacent properties. The location, massing, and design of the garden suite should not result in injury or removal of a healthy tree on the subject property and adjacent properties. Since the time is running, I'll move straight onto the zoning bylaws, and then if further elaborate into the zoning bylaw, in the reports it says height and separation distance, additional angular plane regulation apply to height above 4.0 meter in order to mitigate impact on privacy. Setbacks in the case of the garden suite in particular, rear yard setback and side yard setback are intended to address privacy issues. Angular plane are the design tool that can help mitigate the impact of the building mass on adjacent property as the height increase by stepping it away from the property line. So as of currently, the application seeks relief on the majority of the variances or the bylaws that are intended to mitigate the planning impact onto surrounding property.
Sir,
So as of the
I'll ask you to
yes.
please summarize. You passed your 5 minutes, and
Sure.
And I just And any other comment you want to make before we close?
Yeah. So I'm just summarizing it. So as of this reason, I believe that the application fails to meet the four test, the statutory four test, and therefore it should be refused.
Okay, that's fair. And you mentioned in the beginning that you would like to see the committee decide on the deferral, if we want to defer it. Now, generally, when we defer an application, we don't have to discuss it. But here we discussed all of it. We may have enough information to make a decision. So the deferral, I don't know. We'll see what happened with the other people. Any question for the speaker?
Mr. Chair, the counselor also had a letter.
Yeah, we're coming back. So, are you, any question for this one here? No. Okay, so we'll, no question, we'll go to the next one. The next one is, we have this Steve Kong, and here is Sung Choi. Are you there?
Mr. Chair, Sung has confirmed he will not be attending the
He will not be there. Okay, so he will not be there, and the counselor letter. It said the counselor letter. Is there a letter for the counselor? Okay, the counselor letter is on the thing there, and so that's for the people, for the members to see, because we don't have any other speaker. So we'll get back the agent. Mukherjee, Mr. Mukherjee, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, can you please address the concern that you just heard? And also, there is a letter from the counselor asking to defer the application. So please tell us what you're saying before we make a decision.
Yes, I would like to proceed today. I'll tell you why. The counselor, I have shared my plans with her on May 15th. That's about 6 weeks ago. The counselor came to my property yesterday morning for a site visit. In the afternoon, counselor wanted more information. I gave her that more information, but she wanted it from her own city sources. I said, okay, to defer if I can get July 5th, the next cycle. She said the email said it would probably be August 10th, if not later. Then a 20-day hold period, and then buildings. So that takes me to next year to actually complete the structure. I started this project February 2019. It's now June 2023, 4.5 years. I'm still begging for permits. I need to build this structure this summer. I need to get through this today. Regarding my neighbors, page 16, please, if you can go to. In the meantime, accessibility, that's what I'm doing with this new structure. In terms of trees, I'm not planning to injure any trees. If you could zoom in on that very last sentence there. I've tried to engage with all my neighbors since May 31st. It says I'm happy to discuss the plans. You can email me here with the best way to contact you. 0 people came to me and said, I have an issue with such, such, such. My one neighbor came to me and said, show me your alternate plans, which was on a couple of pages up, which was the green and the blue square. But nobody wants to engage with me, right? So that one, yeah. I mean, I'm doing the best I can. I'm increasing privacy with the frosted glass. I'm taking it off the lot line. Minor is in terms of impact, right? So I'm talking about shadow. What does it look like from the street? What's the blue versus the green going to look like from the street? Probably the exact same. In terms of the OP, there's a section called unique features. And I think this is a unique feature because this was built in around 1950. And I am trying to move this. The plan is to move the structure. If something does fail, then I'm going to have to rebuild it, which is why I'm saying, yes, please consider it from scratch. Now, the difference is if another 124 Hendon, 122 Hendon try and make the same structure, the neighbors will say, hey, you're creating a huge shadow increase, right? Or you're creating this structure where nothing existed. For me, I'm saying the blue structure is better than the green structure. I'm not increasing shadows by much at all, if any. I'm increasing privacy and I'm lowering the total massing with the peak height, right? This is going to be 6. The other one is, I'm calling it 6.7. And what else do I have written here? That the flat roof is good for eco. So I wanted to make this a green roof, but I'm not committing to that in the plans because that costs a lot of money. That makes, you have to do certain things. But in the future, I want this to be a green roof. The flat roof holds water. I showed you the problem with the raccoons. On this public forum, I will say as long as I own the property, I will always maintain a set of hedges on the north side of the property. So that's all the Gaslight Court residents. Any evidence that you've seen from previous planners in the documents, those were under old bylaws for ancillary structures. This is a garden suite under the new bylaws. In terms of all the letters of objection, how many people came to show up today? 1. And I think that's because one person is driving all the objection. That's my personal view, but I'm pretty sure of that. And we're not debating a garden suite. I'm asking for minor variances. It allows for accessibility. They're the small yellow triangles that you've seen. And don't forget, there's 3 letters of support uploaded to the AIC this week. I'm not sure if you've seen that, but there are 3 letters of support. So I'm just going to end here. And this is really the diagram I want you to focus on when making your decision, please. The green, I don't need any minor variance, any committee. The blue is what I'm asking for. Both will have basements. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we have them here, 3 letters of support. We have also some objection, but what you're saying is, if I understood you correctly, there is no purpose of deferring it because you're not going to change anything. This is what you're asking for. Is that correct?
Yes, if I can just say one minor thing.
Okay. So, okay.
The counselor just yesterday wrote that letter. I saw it this morning, said there's a problem, doesn't like the HVAC structure. I would be okay if there was a condition that the HVAC structure was within the required angular planes, and that would remove some mitigation. So HVAC structure within required angular planes, I'm okay with that condition if someone wants to put that on.
Okay, let's see what the members have to say, if they have any question. Any question for the speaker? If not,
just regarding, sorry, Mr. Chair, regarding the deferral request, first from Mr. Kang and also from Councillor Cheng.
we'll take a motion.
You don't need a motion you only need a motion if you're going to defer it.
Yeah.
But you perhaps ask the members what they think of the deferral.
We're going to take motion to defer, yes or not, and then we move to the decision.
You don't need a motion to discuss the deferral. You only need a motion if you choose to defer it.
Yes.
So perhaps ask the members how they feel about deferring it.
Yeah, but before that, I asked them to ask if there is any question to him. Maybe they have a question in terms of the deferral as well. We're going to have to make a decision as far as the deferral, yes or no. But the question is, do you have any question in the meantime? Yes, Ms. Atarodi?
Yes, to you, Mr. Chair. I have a question from city staff. Are we able to add such condition that the HVAC to be hidden within this within the same structure of the building? Is this some condition that we can add, or what is their recommendation?
I'm gonna ask city staff to put up Councillor Cheng's letter again, please. Councillor Cheng has noted a number of conditions. It's a request, it's not an obligation. That HVAC is one of them. I can't tell or inform you what conditions you may want to add. You may want to get the applicant's take on this.
Thank you.
Okay, so if there is no more question, I'm coming back to the deferral question. Generally, we used to take it only from the agents, but now we can entertain a question of deferral even from the neighbors or anybody else. So we have a question here, a deferral from the councillor, and I think, do I have a motion to defer, yes or not? Ms. Atarodi?
Yes, to you, Mr. Chair. When I look at the application, it seems to be reasonable, especially with the diagram that the architect show or the owner shows. But since there are some condition and a counselor's letter, I don't want to personally put a condition that I don't include all the required condition or things, and I think we have to leave it to city staff to draft that later. Therefore, I agree with deferral. But it's not a motion. If you want, I just think
So
that
you
we
want
can
to
entertain that.
Yeah, I need a motion for deferral. You said you want to defer Sunny Die? Is that what you said?
Oh, I just said you ask if there is any, if anyone want to entertain the deferral motion. I said that I think it's a good idea that you ask for the first motion, and I didn't put a motion. I just said my my understanding.
Yeah, the understanding is we entertain the question. Now we ask for deferral. You said you're okay, so you move to defer. Is it Sunny Die?
So I can just put forward a motion to
Yes.
defer this application, Sine Die?
Yes. Okay, second. I had 2 seconds. Ms. Sankar and Mr. Khan. Which one was second?
Mr. Chair, I just need a reason for deferral.
What's that?
I would need a reason for the deferral so we can record it in our minutes.
There is a request.
Okay.
There's a request from the.
Through you.
Yeah.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to defer this application so the applicant can just revisit and talk with the counselor, and also as city staff can add if there is any required condition to the decision. That's the reason. So to further discuss about the situation with the city staff and the counselor.
Okay. And second, I had 2 seconds. Which one 1 second? Going once, Mr. Hunt. Okay, Mr. Hunt seconding. All in favor? Okay. All in favor. Okay. So the application is deferred sine die for the agent to discuss with the counselor and neighbors as far as the application. Okay, thank you. Yeah, oh my God, you read my note. We're going to have a few minutes break, okay? 10 minutes break. I have to make a... Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're resuming the session and we have item number 9, which is 3125 Steeles Avenue East. So, and here we have Mr. It said here Lindsay Dale Harris, applicant, main speaker, and then we have the agent Lisa Ward Mather. Who wants to speak here?
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I am Lindsay Dale Harris, and
Okay.
I'm a partner of Boastfield.
Thank you. And your name, please state your address, your name and address for the system here.
3 Church Street, Suite 200.
Thank you. Thank you. Now,
M5E and M2.
okay. Now, who? It said Lisa Ward, the agent. So you're the one to speak for the application, right?
I'm going to speak, but I also have with me Mr. Patrick Harrington, who is a legal counsel from Aird and Burles, if you had any legal questions you wish to ask.
Well, Mr. Harrison is listed here as a speaker. He can come up and say whatever he wants. So in the meantime,
okay,
you can make your presentation for this lot modification.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I believe all the speakers are in support of the application or part of the agent.
What's that? All of them are the agent. I see. That's the agent, owner representative, senior associate, and lawyer for. So all of them. Very good. Okay. Okay, Ms. Dale Harris, we have all these people here for the same thing. So let's start with you. And we have 17 variances, lots modification to meet the bylaw, which requires the committee. But could you please, it's a little bit convoluted, could you please explain exactly what it is? And here transportation is okay with it, provided you are submitting zoning review waiver. So let's hear what you have to say, and then we see if we need somebody else from your group to speak.
Okay, before I begin my presentation, I'm already counted down. I'll deal with my requested modifications at the end of my presentation. So I'm Lindsay Dale Harris. I'm a partner with Boastfields, and with me is Patrick Harrington, who is a legal counsel at Aird and Burles. And we are here on behalf of Steeles Tech Limited Partnership and the Steeles Tech Nominee, Inc., who are the owners of 3215, 3381 to 3389 Steeles Avenue and 4000 Victoria Park Avenue. But in order to provide you with a planning context, because it is a complicated variance, we wanted to highlight that these variances are only being requested to permit the registration of a plan of condominium for employment uses and business park uses. They are not for residential. They are not for mixed. If approved, the variances will allow for the registration of 6 employment portals, which are being created to facilitate the functionality of an existing planned, designated, zoned, and site planned employment use. I'd also like to thank your committee staff, planning and transportation staff, and the zoning examiner. We've worked long and hard with staff to ensure that the correct variances are being requested, that they represent good planning, and they will facilitate the registration of the draft plan of condominium in accordance with city standards. And although I did sign a waiver, the zoning examiner has reviewed each portal and identified every variances, and the examiner's notices have been provided. Staff wanted us to do a variance to each portal rather than doing a blanket exemption overall, and that's what we have done. There are 17 variances. The reasons for the variances are technical and meet the 4 tests under the Planning Act. They conform with the official plan. It's an employment area. They're in general conformity with the zoning bylaw. It's an MO zone, industrial office business park zone. They're appropriate. They will provide for the ongoing functioning of an employment condominium, and they are minor. They are purely technical in nature, simply to legalize what is there today and how each new building will relate to its new portal. Could I have that's so the location is on the south side of Steeles Avenue, immediately east of Highway 404. It's a very large property, and it has been developed over the past 20 years for a variety of service, commercial uses, and employment uses in accordance with an approved site plan. Next slide, please. Oh, no, I think we have to go, sorry, back. We're missing a slide. We could go back one. Back one. That one, thank you. The owners have requested approval for 6 portals in accordance with an approved site plan to ensure that any future development will occur by way of a planned condominium, and the corporation will be responsible for such matters as private roads and private services. On Tuesday of this week, North York Community Council recommended approval of a part lot control exemption bylaw to permit development substantially in accordance with the plan you see on the screen, and that was attached to their recommendation. And it recognizes that a planned condominium would be registered. However, the portals must conform to the enforced zoning, and the locations and functions of the existing buildings and businesses must be recognized, hence the need for the variances. Next slide, please. That's the existing uses on the site, which have been there for a very long time. 2 office buildings, 5 stories, 12 stories, 2 restaurants close to Steeles Avenue, and 1 2-story commercial school. Next slide, please. This is the existing zoning. No lot front, no lot area minimum requirement, side setback requirements, and the existing buildings have all been built in conformity with these requirements. Next slide, please. For the creation of the portals, the civic administrator has identified new rear, front, and side yard requirements, hence the need for the variances. Next slide, please. Parking variances. There's a large surface parking lot, Part F, on the right-hand side of the screen in blue, and there's a variance is requested because individuals don't meet the parking requirements on the site, but they will be able to share Part F. Those variances have been supported by transportation services. Next slide, please. That is a GFA variance, FSI. The FSI is 1.5 on the entire site, but Portal D, we're requesting 1.75. That's location of offices. Next slide, please. If we go through each portal, you can see there's Portal A. Next slide, please. Portal C has the 2 variances. Next slide, please. Portal D is the variances for height and parking. Next slide, please.
Hello. Your 5 minutes are over.
Yep.
Now you tell us all these people are with you. So before we ask questions, anybody else here you want to speak, and then we'll ask your questions to 2 of you or whatever.
I would like Mr. Harrington to speak to the last slide.
Mr. Harrison. Okay, Harrington. So, Mr. Patrick Harrington, are you there? Mr. Harrington?
I believe Miss Dale Harris wanted me to speak to some of the variances outlined in the slide.
Could you please, for the system here, could you please repeat your name and address for us?
Certainly. It's Patrick Harrington, Airden Burles LLP, address of 181 Bay Street in Toronto.
Thank you. So you can add whatever you want, and then we'll have question for both of you as the applicants.
Thank you. So just to build on what Ms. Dale Harris had indicated, these variances form part of a suite of Planning Act approvals that are necessary to create conveyable parcels on the Steel Tech Business Campus. This had begun with official plan amendments, have moved through a 1-lot plan of subdivision. A park lot control exemption was recently recommended for approval by North York Community Council, and a common elements condominium is currently in process before city staff. The variances are before you are technical in nature. They arise from the fact that the campus is designed around a private road network. So as you saw from Ms. Dale Harris's slide, that creates some interesting problems with respect to what is the front yard, what is the side yard, what is the rear yard. And the majority of variances are related to that unique circumstance simply because most of the campus that is currently there was designed to orient itself around the internal private road network as opposed to the 2 exterior public roads being Steeles and Victoria Park. We have zoning examiner notices for each of the portals proposed to be created so that we know exactly which variances are needed to be authorized by this committee to allow the plan of condominium to move forward. The notice of all the variances are correct, except as Ms. Dale Harris asked me to speak to you about on this last slide, PDF page 14. There's a couple of corrections. They're minor in nature and almost technical in nature. The first is in respect of variances 17 and 18 make reference to an existing parking lot on Podle F. The ask is to revise these two variances simply to take out the word existing because the use is being permitted as a parking lot on that site as opposed to an existing parking lot. As well, variance number 7, if you go through some of the subsections, there are other sections that talk to rear yard projections for porches, decks, and stairways. The notice spoke to sub 9B. We would ask that the variance be also reference not only 69B, but 69H as well. That would be the complete set of amendments needed for proceeding with this particular set of variances. As I said, this is part and parcel of a suite of applications that are currently proceeding. We're by no means indicating that this is a matter that doesn't require the attention of the Committee of Adjustment in terms of the 4 tests, but the site is designated and zoned for the types of uses that are contemplated for the Steel Tech campus. The applications represent appropriate development of the lot. They are functionally technical in nature, given the fact that the Steel Tech campus is oriented around a private road network, which is unusual in the circumstance. And we believe, notwithstanding the number of variances, that they are all minor in nature and certainly help to enable the proposal to function in the way it should, as well as allowing city staff to proceed to finalization for the common elements condominium that has been applied for.
Okay, thank you. Now let's see if they have I understand all those people are just your group. So we have Ms. Harris and Mr. Harrington who spoke. And any question for these applicants? We have Mr. Harrington and Ms. Harris. Any question? No. If there is no question, can I have a motion then, please? Mr. Hunt, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Having listened to both applicant representatives, I believe that this application is appropriate, and I would move approval without condition.
No conditions? Okay. Second? Second, Ms. Tarodi, seconding. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay. So your application is unanimously approved with no conditions. Ms. Harris and Mr. Harrington, you did a very good presentation.
Thank you very much indeed.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
Can I just verify that that included the revisions asked for by Mr. Harrington?
Ms. Harrington, I don't have any conditions.
Changes.
Oh, the changes.
Yes, I agree. I agree with the inclusion of the changes.
Thank you. Application number 10, which is 37 Carmichael Avenue, application number 10. And here we have Enzo Locizano. Mr. Locizano, are you there?
Hello, Mr. Chair. It's my name's Enzo Locizano. I'm 1245 Caledonia Road in Toronto.
Thank you. We have here, it's a rear addition and a deck. One variance. Transportation has no objection. That's all I have here. Yeah, you can make a very small presentation. There is one variance, so just a short presentation so we can move on.
Sure. We worked with planning and brought the coverage within the limit of what has been previously approved in the area. The coverage does include the existing vinyl shed that's currently in the back. So we've now legalized that. The deck at the back is purely for access to the lower stone patio. We don't have any other variances with regards to setbacks or lengths, but we do have the coverage, which I feel is very much in keeping with the area and meets the 4 tests.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. Any question? If no, can I have a motion then, please? Mr. Khan? Mr. Khan first, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, there is only one variance, which is minor. Therefore, I move this application be approved.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Sankar, all in favor? Unanimous. Okay, sir, your application is unanimously approved. There is no conditions. Application.
Very good. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Application number 11, which is 39 Corning Road, application number 11. And here we have Melissa Wong and Theo Riskan.
My name is Melissa Wong.
Okay. Yeah, please, your address.
My address is 39 Corning Road. I'm here with my husband, Theo Sriskandaraja, and we're the owners of 39 Corning Road.
Thank you. So we have here a second floor and rear deck, 2 variances, transportation, no objection, and a letter of support. Members, there's nobody here to speak, and there is no conditions. Do we need a presentation? No? Okay. Okay, Ms. Wong, we don't need the presentation here. Do you want to add anything? We'll just move on for decision.
No, we're just building our house, and appreciate your time.
Thank you. Okay. Can Ms. Sankar, you had your hands. Can I have a motion there, please?
I think this is really simple. It meets the 4 tests.
Okay.
A motion.
Okay.
So I'll put forward a motion to approve this application as is. Thank you.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Tarodi, all in favor? Unanimous. Okay. Thank you. Is unanimously approved with no condition.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Have a wonderful day.
You too. Number 12, which is 126 Nipigon, application number 12. And here we have Shadi Arani. Are you there?
Chair, yes, I'm here.
Yeah, could you please state your name and address for us?
My name is Shadi Arani from 685 Shepherd Avenue East.
Okay, we have here is a new dwelling, 4 variances. There is a forestry condition 1 and 2, staff report indicating that you are making some changes, and we have 3 letters of support. So could you please go over the changes, tell us exactly what you're changing to before we move on?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So the changes are with regards to the variance number 1 and 2. We took staff recommendation, and we would like to reduce the height of main wall from 8.11 meters to 8 meters. And revised drawings were submitted on June 9th to reflect this change.
Okay, big change, huh? Okay, so your change is from 8.11 to 80, and that's the only change you have. Okay, do you want to make a presentation before we move on?
Yes, if you don't mind, just a brief presentation.
Please go ahead.
So the variance number 1 and 2, which is now reduced to 8 meters, is just to allow the second floor rooms to have a window with the top of the window at the height of 7 feet. And the next variance is a lot coverage, which is basically to accommodate the space that the new family requires to move in. And as you can see, staff had no issue with it. It's a coverage that has been approved many times in that neighborhood. And with regards to the side yard setback, this variance is also visible in both old and new homes. The existing house has a setback of 0.9 meters on one side, and both east and west neighborhood have a setback of 1.2 and 0.65. So it's in keeping with the character of both neighbors and the neighborhood. And as you mentioned, we got support letter from both side neighbors and other neighbors as well. We door knocked on all properties just to make sure that the neighboring properties are all happy with the application. If you have any other questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any question? No? Okay, can I have a motion then, please? Miss Atarodi first, yeah?
Yes, to you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with the following changes. Variance number 1, the exterior main wall height is now 8 meter. Variance number 2, the exterior main wall height is 8 meter and subjected to urban forestry condition.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Sankar, all in favor? Okay, thank you. Unanimous. So your application is approved, subject to those changes you made and subject to forestry.
Thank you so much.
Okay, number 13. Number 13, which is 1073 Spadina Road, application number 13. And here we have Glenn Rubinoff. Mr. Rubinoff, are you there?
It's Glenn Rubinoff.
Hi. Could you please, could you please repeat your name and address for the record?
Yes, it's Glenn Rubinoff, Rubinoff Design Group, 18 Gloucester Lane, Toronto, Ontario.
Okay. We have here to legalize existing garden suite, 4 variances and 4 letters of support. Do you want to make a small presentation?
Just to clarify, there are actually 13 letters of support. I'm not sure if they,
all right.
They were,
okay, well,
they were submitted to.
Yeah, just to let you know, this committee does not go by referendum. How many applications? We look at the case,
right?
Whatever we have here. So we have letters of support. We don't have any objection, and we have 4 variances and to legalize existing garden suites. So please go ahead, make a presentation.
Sure. So this is an existing garden suite that's been there for over 40 years. Our client bought it last year. It's an existing building. It was a garage, probably post-war, and then about 40 years ago, they probably finished it up inside. It's been occupied at times as a secondary suite, but it's never. Now they want to obviously legalize it. We spoke with planning. The only with the garden suite bylaw, it's just where the existing garage was when it was built. So a lot of the setbacks are related to existing site conditions, and the same thing with the garden suite. 68 square meters where 60 square meters is permitted. Again, no work has been done on this in many years. It's just simply existing, and now we're just going to legalize it.
That's it.
And the last thing I'll just say is that the last thing I want to say, and I know we talked about it just briefly, is they did contact all the neighbors to make sure they understood that we weren't planning to build anything. They're just simply taking an existing condition that they inherited and are dealing with it now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we have here Donna Smith. Are you there?
I am.
Okay, could you please state
Donna Smythe, 56 Kilgorm Road.
Thank you. And what's your concern?
I agree to the legalization of the existing garden suite, but only with the understanding that the current garden suite structure will not be rebuilt or expanded. So as long as it stays as is, I will agree to it, but not if it's going to be rebuilt or expanded upon.
That's it? Any question for this?
That's it, because this is in my backyard. I'm the south property of it, and but that's my stance.
Okay, so are you finished? Yeah.
I'm finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hold a second, please. Any question for the speaker? No. Okay. Next one is Ryan Bornstein. Are you there?
Through you, Mr. Chair, Ryan was unable to attend the hearing.
Unable. Thank you. Linda or Stephen Shapiro. Are you there? Linda and...
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Could you state your name and address, please? Your name and address, please.
Sure. It's Linda Kester. Yes, Linda Kester Shapiro. I'm here with my husband, Stephen Shapiro. My address is 58 Gilgorm Road, and I am directly behind 1073.
Thank you.
Behind the garden suite.
Okay. And what's your concern? Any concern?
So we also spoke with our neighbor at 1073, and we are okay with the variances. It has been there for, as you mentioned, for decades. And we just wanted to, we asked her for a couple of conditions in terms of maintaining the property. There is an overlook from the top window, and she has already frosted over the window with an adhesive, so we're happy about that. And same with our neighbor, Donna, who just mentioned that we also agree as long as they do not intend to rebuild or expand the current garden suite in any way.
Yeah. Okay. So what we have in front of us here, that's what it is. If they change it, they'll have to come back.
Right. We just want to, yeah.
Okay. That's what we're discussing, approving or refusing what we have in front of us. So we can't make any conditions what they're going to do in the future. Okay. So any question for the speaker? No? Okay. Can I have a motion then, please? Oh, hold a second. Yeah, but there is nothing. Just a second. Mr. Robinov. Mr. Robinov?
Yes.
Did you want to add
yes.
something after the people spoke?
Just to confirm to all the neighbors who spoke that there's no intention to do anything. It's an existing condition, and we just want to legalize it. Okay, no plans to expand or rebuild.
Thank you. Can I have a motion then, please? Unless, okay, Miss Satarodi had it first.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. To you.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Okay. Well, I asked if there's any question. Now you have a question. Go ahead, please. Let's hear the question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, sir, I would simply like to know, Mr. Rubinoff, that what this structure is used for.
Could you
thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for your question. It's been vacant since the owner took it over, but it is a garden suite. It's got a bedroom upstairs, a bathroom, it's a kitchen. And like I said, that's not been any change in that in decades. They just simply want to be able to rent it out like anyone else with a garden suite. Yeah.
Thank you.
So it means there are people living there.
There's no one living there right now. No. Yeah.
Any other question? Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Would it be appropriate in a motion to add a condition that that the building will not change in any way, shape, or form?
Is it necessary?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that motion would be difficult to enforce.
What's that?
It would be difficult to enforce. Who is going to check that?
Yeah. Can't enforce it. We don't police it. All,
Okay.
we discuss what's in front of us, and we can't police them. So, can you, any other question beside this one? No?
Mr. Chair, can I be allowed?
I'm sorry?
Can I speak, sir?
You want to speak for what? Do you have any question?
Yeah, my suggestion is that there should be some sort of restriction in approving this these 4 variances, that in future if application is received to renew or rebuild the structure, then all these variations that are before us should be complied with.
We have in front of us 4 variances that we're deciding on. We cannot put what we're going to do in the future. If they have to do something in the future, they have to come back. This is 4 variances in front of us, and that's what we decided on. That's what we're discussing now. The 4. If you have any problem with the 4 variances as they are now, please mention them. Otherwise, that's all we do. We can't decide what's going to be in the future, or restrict what they're going to. If they want to do something else, they have to come back. So
thank you, Mr. Chair. I have concern about 4, and therefore I will make my vote when the things are presented.
you have a problem with the wall?
Yes.
Okay. Which variance is that?
Sir, this ancillary structure is entering in the angular plane, and also floor area exceeds, and the soft area is much less, and the 4 setback is less. So all these conditions do not comply with the zoning bylaws. So how can I approve all these things?
Well, it's the variances are there. If you want to vote against it, you can. Let's see what's happening. Let's see what other people are saying.
Thank you, sir.
Is there any other question from other members?
No.
If there is no question, can I have a motion then, please? I think Ms. Satarodi had her hand first. Yeah, you had your hand first. Can I have a motion then, please?
Yes, to you, Mr. Chair. I was carefully listened to the presenter, Mr. Rubinoff, and also review the application. Since this structure been there for longer, for more than 40 years, and the height of none of the structural things haven't changed, therefore I think it's really minor, and they just want to convert it to garden suite. Therefore, my motion will be to approve this application with no condition.
Thank you. Second. You have a second? Ms. Sankar seconding. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, we have 2 opposing and 2 for it. So I'm going to make the decision. I have to agree with the motion here. The structure is there in front of us. We have 4 variances. That's what we're deciding on. We have no concern. Not concern. We have no idea what's going to be in the future. If they have to do anything in the future, they'll have to come back. So I'll vote for the motion, and we approve the application with no conditions. Sir, your application is approved.
Thank you.
We have number 14, which is 541 DeLorraine Avenue, application 14, and we have here Aida Evangelista. Are you there?
Morning, Mr. Chair, members. Ida Evangelista on behalf of the owners of 541 DeLorraine.
Okay, now we hear you. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we have here, it's a new dwelling, 10 variances, staff report changes per applicant or refuse, forestry condition 1, and we have a couple letters of objection. So, Ms. Angelista, first of all, could you please go over the changes that you indicated to the staff.
Yes, and just to be clear, staff only said refuse if the changes are not made, and we have made all the changes.
That's exactly.
So I will go over them.
That's exactly what it
Perfect.
says.
Thank you.
It says changes per
Thank you, Mr.
applicant or refuse. Okay.
Yes.
So
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, please.
So I will go through them very carefully. Variance number 1 will now read 1.52 meters.
Okay.
Variance number 2 remains the same. Number 3 will now project 2.65 meters as it's taken to the bottom of the stairs. Variance number 4 has been removed. Variance number 5 has been removed. Variance number 6 is the same. And variance number 7, the height will now read 10.50 meters. Variance number 8, the main wall height will read 9.46 meters as it's taken to the top of the molding.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. The applicant, Ms. Ida, you're reading from the previous notice. Please
Those are the
read
changes.
on the revised notice. The variances the numbers that you're calling should be same as what we have on the revised notice. You already sent that to me, but just please make any changes that you want based on this notice that you already see on the screen.
That's a good question.
Oh. So I'm sorry, I did not receive the revised notice. Can you? Is it in?
Just a second.
Okay.
The application we have, it said that you made the changes. Now, are these changes you're making them now, or something that you submitted before and you're changing them?
So the changes, if staff can indulge me and just scroll down slowly, so I can just confirm that all the changes that were made with planning are okay. And number 2, you have 152, the same. Just keep going. That's correct. That is correct. Rear platform, that is correct. That is correct. And the coverage, 37%, is correct. And that is correct. Yes, so that does reflect.
The changes. All right.
My apologies. I did not receive that revised notice, but that revised notice does reflect all the changes that were made and that staff supports.
Okay, now you stopped at number 8. Any other change after 8?
No, Mr. Chair, because the staff have actually captured all the changes.
Okay, so
because I did send in a modified list of changes, a modified variance list. So, and that's what staff has put in front of you now.
All right, so let me go over them. So make sure that we understand you're changing number 1 to 1.52. You're changing number 3 to 2.65. You're removing. Okay, Ms. Evangelista, you said number 3 changed to 2.65, but I'm told here that the list here did not mention that. Are you changing it or not?
Okay, if we scroll up, if we can scroll up for 1 second, that 2.6 right there. You see that number, variance number 3?
Yeah, 2.6.
The proposed rear deck projects 2.65. That is correct.
No, I know, yeah, but we have to do it here for the members to know it. No change, huh?
Through you, Mr. Chair,
So
my apologies.
So the current variance is what it is here. Okay, yeah, I don't have it here. Okay, all right. Okay, so Ms. Evangelista, your
Staff made it quite concise for us.
yeah, the application it said exactly what you mentioned it here, so we don't have to change it. Okay, very good.
Correct.
Thank you, Miss. You're supposed to be a planner. Okay, all right. So there's no confusion here. What you mentioned here is what it is on the application. Okay? Anything else you want to say?
Yes, I just would like to say that, we see that this area has, there are many, it's a eclectic mix. We have the few of the bungalows that are still remaining. This area has, regeneration started and reinvestment started in this neighborhood quite some time ago. We have increased the side yard setback on the west side to be more in keeping with, what is proposed in the neighborhood. The overall height and the height, again, is consistent with what is characteristic in the neighborhood. Our main wall height, it's taken to, we have a gutterless system on this home. So because we have a gutterless system, we do have that molding and banding, and that's what is creating that main wall height at the front and the back. However, we did work with staff. We've made several changes, as you saw, and now staff is of the opinion that this is more in keeping and characteristic to the neighborhood. I did read through the letters that were sent in, and I will say this. I know that there are two neighbors that are concerned with the tree that was cut down and thinking or believing that the new owners did this. However, I believe forestry has shared a memorandum or an email with staff, as I forwarded also myself from Matthias from from Tree Protection, stating that it was a crabapple tree and it was removed by the city. This was not something that the owners of this home did. So I just wanted to make that perfectly clear. And we do realize that there are forestry conditions, and we are in acceptance of the forestry conditions because there is cleanup that is required and there is tree protection that is required. So we will be submitting an application. However, forestry did not have any other comments. And so transportation is okay. Staff is now in support of the application, and I'm open to any comments or questions you may have.
Thank you. So there is no change. What is said there is what you mentioned again. What we have here is forestry. So any question? We don't have any other speaker. Any question for this agent? If no question. The what? Yeah. What's in the staff report? Yeah. Yeah. So it's far. What does it say? What does it say? It's so far from here. Can you make it big? Yeah, should the application be approved? Okay. Yeah. Site plan, okay, site plan and elevation, huh? Okay, yeah. So there is the, in the staff report, there's the condition to build in accordance with site plan and elevation. So do you have that the staff report? If you have it, you include the condition, okay? And there is forestry, that's all we have. So can I have a motion there, please? Mr. Khan? Mr. Khan first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. After receiving all this information, so staff recommend that variance 1, 3, 7, 8, and 10 be modified, and variance number 4, 5, and 9 be deleted. And they further propose the condition, property be developed in accordance with the site plan and elevation drawings as shown in 1, 2, and 3 of this report. And also the forestry condition be applied.
Yes.
Therefore, I move this application be approved.
Okay, thank you. So your application is approved subject to forestry and the staff condition to build in accordance with site plan and elevation. Second, do you have second? Mr. Hunt is seconding. All in favor? Unanimous, yeah. Thank you. Okay, Ms. Evangelista,
Thank you very much.
your application is unanimously approved, subject to forestry and the condition of the staff.
Thank you. I'll see you later today.
Thank you. Yeah. 15. Application number 15, which is 102 Glentworth, application number 15, which is Mr. Sean Tusi. Are you there? Sean Tusi.
Of the committee. My name is Sean Tusi. I'm the office principal at Mimar Architects, Inc., representing the owner today.
Thank you. So we have here a new dwelling, 4 variances. Staff report has only one condition to build according to the north and elevation drawings. Condition of forestry and just one letter of objection. So can you make a short presentation, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair. If we can get the notice up, because I believe we have 3 variances. I'm just trying to understand where you would have the.
Okay, is it?
Yeah.
Through you, Mr. Chair, staff is
Staff,
currently pulling up the presentation.
Okay, okay, we're going to pull it. We're going to pull it over here, please.
Yeah, so while they're pulling up, I will sort of give you the background for this. So the subject house, we're designing a new house here. Yes, yeah, that is correct, Mr. Chair. I just had a glimpse at it, and it is correct. So it's just one is the repeat of the old bylaw and the new bylaw.
Okay,
so
sir,
this
hold
is not a very.
Sir, can you please just hold a second? Could you put the application, the public notice?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we're currently experiencing a minor issue. We should have it up and running in a little bit.
Okay, well, I have it right here. Sir, the application I have here, it shows 4 variances. Now you tell me there's only 3. Can you please explain that? I have here 4 variances. It shows on my copy, which is it was mailed on June 12, 2023, and there is 4 variances. So what do you want to say?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that is correct. The 4 variants is correct.
So why you're telling us there was only 3? Okay, so please go ahead.
In our discussion with zoning examiner, there was a comment on the main wall height, and in their notice we had it under 1, and then here they separated it for the committee. So it makes no difference. So
okay,
I guess that we have to stay with what was submitted.
We have 4.
So we're fine with that.
Well, okay, you're not changing any of these 4 variances. So please go ahead and make your presentation.
No, Mr. Chair. So whenever staff had the issue fixed, if they could share the screen, and maybe we could start with the site plan. This is not a very big lot, and on one side the depth is about 100 feet, and then the other side the depth is about 88 feet, as you can see in the site plan. And if it's possible to zoom in, thank you for staff for zooming in. So my challenge and my office challenge was, how can we give the customer a good design that is in keeping with the characters, has all the elements, and also has all the living elements for them to have a comfortable life with the recent standards. So we wanted to give them a nice backyard, a relatively minimum backyard for their enjoyment. At the same time, we didn't want to provide a lot of variances. So we decided that obviously the lot coverage, we wanted to stay under 32%, which is the standard for the new developments, and we are under 32%. So once we had that figured out, the idea was that with this a small lot, we wanted to provide the decent side yard setbacks as well, because we needed more depth, right? If you look at this new design, it has just over 13 meters, which you can imagine putting in all the elements, and that's the longest portion is 13 meter. The other portions are even less, 12 meters, less than that. And because of that, we sort of figured out what's the minimum depth. How can we squeeze the house, because we didn't have a lot of depth. And then the 13 meter was as far as we could really squeeze it. And then we had to place that in the lot, and placement of that in the lot was that we wanted to give them a minimum like enjoyment of the backyard, and we didn't want to create rear yard setbacks or rear yard setback for deck or the building. So the design you see does not have any rear yard setback, does not have any side yard setbacks. We are in fact very generous for the side yard setbacks. We are in compliance, and then they even increased about 3 meters to really provide a decent space between the neighborings. So we sort of concluded that the best way is to create a little bit of variance at the front. And the variance at the front is created because the two houses on both sides are further back because they're older house. So the zoning bylaw requires 6 meter or the average of the neighbors. So in this case, because of the average of the neighbors were further back, so we did created this variance. Other than that, we believe it is a technical variance because we are more than 6 meter. We're if we could, staff can zoom in for the members to see, we are just over 6.5 meter, which is in line with what the city likes to see in the set. And 6.75 is basically what we are. The city wants it between 6 meter or the average. So in general, we think, considering all the limitations we had, this is a house that lets the customer enjoy. At the same time, it will provide enough space for the parking at the front. The extra setbacks will provide decent distance from the both neighbors. And because of all of this, we think it is very much in keeping with the character of the neighborhood and the 4 test of the bylaw. And the other variance that I would like to touch base, if the staff can bring up the front elevation, or we actually had a presentation that if you can pull that up, that would be even better in our submissions, if it is possible to find it. If not, I know we don't have a lot of time left. I'll just explain it here. So if you notice, the actual main wall height is the effective is if you can zoom in so the members can see 7.87. So we're just about a foot over the main wall. But the way the technicality of the measurement of the main wall is, the staff are measuring it all the way to the peak of those dormers. So if the staff can show like peak of those dormers, that's where technicality measures it. But if you look at the front elevation, if you look at the side elevation, we're really like visually, we're only 30 centimeter just over that for the variance. And because of that, we think that is also minor and in keeping with the character of the neighborhood and what typically gets built in that area. And we believe it's technical. Should the committee decides to approve it, we are fine to attach the decision to the elevations to make sure that, you know, like the design stays like this and we don't change the main wall, effective main wall height, if you will, to something taller. With that said, I would be happy to answer any question you might have.
Thank you. Any questions for this gentleman? No? Can I have a motion then, please? Ms. Sankar, sorry, Ms. Tarodi.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I'm ready to put forward a motion to approve this application. I've been convinced that this is very minor in nature. And I would like to add one condition that city staff mentioned, that this development to be developed substantially in accordance with the north elevation drawing submitted on May 30th, attachment number 1 to the report, and also subjected to urban forestry. That's my motion.
Thank you. Second, now is Ms. Sankar. Second, all in favor? All in favor? Okay, unanimous. Okay, your application is approved, subject to forestry and the condition of the staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Have a good afternoon.
You too, thank you. Number 16, which is 18 Shamokin Drive, application number 16, and here we have Mr. or Jan Ying. Are you there? Joanne.
Yep.
Yeah, hi. Could you please state your name and address?
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Chair and the members of the committee. My name is Joanne, and we are the authorized agent acting on behalf of the owner, Xiaoming Yang, and Mr. Chu Yun-hun.
Okay, and here we have, what we have, this is encroachment of a platform, raising platform. There is only one variance. Staff report.
That's correct.
Staff report has conditions, modify variance number 1 from 1.551 to 1.5, which is minor, and built in accordance with side elevation. So we have TRCA, no objection, 2 letters, we have some objections, and we have 2 letters of support. Okay, you know what? Why don't you make, please make a small presentation, and then we can see, because we have here one more person listed here to speak, okay?
Yep, very small one. So, I mean, we are not the original architect, but we performed the site visit on May 24th, and we realized that the existing raised platform encroached 1.51 meter into the south side yard setback. Nothing at the east or the north and the west side. Just the area of the 0.064 meter square. Why we actually had this application, because the material of itself is pretty difficult to be cut. So we just want to see if this encroachment will be accepted by the owner of the 16 and the neighborhood. And I did actually review the objection letter from the 16, unfortunately. So I'm trying to see if there's any chance that we can actually request to keeping the encroachment while we can actually accommodating all the drainage and the swell issue, because it looks like the main description of the objection letter from the 16. It looks like it related to be more the swell and the drainage issue, rather than just we talk about very a little encroachment at the south side yard setback, and we also trust that this doesn't actually affect the access to the backyard, while still actually maintaining the physical character of the neighborhood. That's it.
That's it. Okay.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, good. So let's see what this Peter Chi has to say, and then we'll move on for question if there's any. Peter Chi, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Could
Mr.
you?
Chair?
Yeah. Could you please state your name and address, please?
Okay, my name is Peter Chi, C-H-E-E. I'm the land use planner for the owners, Ms. Janet Yi and Ms. Karina Yi. My address is 16 High Street, Etobicoke, M8Y 3 and 8.
Thank you. Tell us what's your concern here.
Okay, our concern number 1 is that right now we got a 0.1, not a 0.01, according to the architect's drawing of encroachment onto the my client's property. Right. Further, because the way the builder or the applicant had built this walkway, and the drainage. Right now, if you look at the, I think it's on their picture, the second one down, right, on the side, the small one there. The rainwater leader from the roof comes out through a small hole. You could barely see it, but on my letter of opposition, which is number 7, I clearly identify where the downspout is actually discharging to. It's not discharging to the grade as per the surveyor's grading plan, nor if you look at their drawing, there's once the water comes out, there is no way for the water to be self-contained upon the applicant's lands, and instead it'll be diverted onto my client's lands. If you look at the grading plan that was done by Mr. Aziz, there is a high spot right about here, right? And all the water from here, if you look at here, just before the garage, all the water that comes down just before the garage goes towards the backyard. And the only way for it to go because of the raised walkway is onto my client's lands, which we do not want. We don't want any encroachment. We don't want to be receiving anybody's water. I direct the applicant to Chapter 5 of the city's lot grading policies. And on my letter to the city for lot grading, I identified that, yes, adjacent land shall not be adversely be affected, which is on page 79. And on page 78, drainage flow should be directed away from houses, which is not. And storm drainage shall be self-contained within the development site, which this is not. I don't have a difficulty in sitting down with the applicant and the consultants and say, okay, fine. We have a problem here because this is stem more from a legal problem in addition to a zoning problem. And we don't want to escalate this any more than what we have to. And I think it depends on what they're proposing. The onus is on them to be self-contained. According to the policy, there's supposed to be a 0.5 no-touch strip, which was never addressed. And this is within the city's own policy. So this is really where our issues are. Other than that, I mean, back in when the original building was applied for, I think it was in 2017, we have no objection to it. They had a lot of variances. This is not a NIMBYism situation. This is a matter of life safety. The water right now from the downspout is directed to the walkway on my client's lands. And eventually there'll be icing and there'll be a problem of slip and fall. My clients don't live there. Their mother lives there, and she's an elderly lady. I'm here for any questions that the committee or the applicant may have.
Okay. Let's see what questions members have, but I just don't understand. We have one variance. The proposed platform encroaches 1.51, and then it changed to 1.5. I'll have the agent explain this again. If it changed to 1.5 instead of 1.51, so what the question is?
Well, it's the 0.1 meter encroachment, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Yeah, Dubala said it attached. It said here a platform without blah blah should be may encroach into the required site setback a maximum of 1.5 meter if it's not closer than 3. So are you closer than 0.3?
Yeah, it's already exceeded 0.3.
Okay, okay, all right.
So because the platform,
Yeah.
so the platform actually should be at 0.3, and the existing platform, when we perform the site visit, is already exceed the 0.3. But the zoning allows for up to 1.5, but they build it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
okay, all right.
So
very
that
good.
that was the main purpose of the MV application. In related to the downsprout, because I wasn't the original architect, so I can't honestly I can't comment it too much. But I did actually had a quick conversation with the owner of the 18 Shamokin. So they do agree to accommodate all the swell and the drainage issue due to the downsprout situation.
Okay, all right. So, okay, as you know, we don't get too involved with the drainage, but let's see what.
That's correct.
Let's see what the members have to say. Any question for this speaker? First of all, the speaker who just finished now, no, and then the agent. Any? Did you want to add something? Miss Joanne, do you want to add something after?
No, I'm good.
You're good. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, so any question, Miss Atarodi?
No, I don't have any question. If my colleague don't have a question, I'm ready to put forward a motion.
Please go ahead. Yeah, I asked for question and nobody wants, so please go ahead.
Okay, to you, Mr. Chair, I'm ready to put forward a motion for this application. We are having an application with one variance, and I personally believe the encroachment of 0.01 meter is very minor.
Yes.
And therefore, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with only one staff condition, that the platform be developed in accordance with the height as shown on the east side elevation drawing attached. And that's my motion.
That's it. Thank you. Second, Mr. Hunt, seconding. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, so your application is unanimously approved, subject to just that condition.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and the committees of team members.
Okay.
Have a great day.
You too. Okay.
Mr. Chair, are we done with the AM? Mr. Chair, can I suggest, while we have all the members present, do you want to go back and approve the minutes? Just in case we lose someone in the afternoon, I want to make sure we get them done. I'm afraid we might lose some members in the afternoon. I just want to make sure while all the members are here, that we do the minutes, please.
Okay, so the suggestion is to do it now, and before we take a break, we have to we have to approve the minutes, and one of you wasn't available, or two of you. So now we have all of you. So let's have it, confirmation of minutes. The one of August 11, 2022, Ms. Sankar and Mr. Khan. Mr. Khan and Ms. Sankar, both of you. Can I have a motion to?
I move approval of those minutes.
Ms. Sankar?
Thank you.
Second?
Yes.
Second? Ms. Khan is not, Mr. Khan is not, okay, thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Khan, okay. So for the staff, the minutes of August 11, 2022 are now adopted. The next one is September 8, 2022. Ms. Sankar, Mr. Khan, and Mr. Hunt. Can I have a motion to adopt, please?
I move those minutes.
Thank you. Second, Mr. Hunt, I think, has his yes. All in favor? Okay. For the records, September 8, 2022, the minutes are adopted. And the next one is September 22nd, 2022. This is the one that needed some corrections, And the staff is promising that those changes will be made. Based on those changes, there is only Ms. Tarodi and myself. Can I have a motion to adopt? Ms. Sankar?
So I move to Ms. Atarodi West.
Thank you, and I'll second it. So, for the records, September 22nd, 2022, the minutes are now adopted. And June 8th, 2023, Ms. Atarodi and Ms. Sankar. Can I have a motion to adopt? Ms. Sankar first. All in favor?
I motion to adopt those minutes.
And second, Ms. Sankar seconding. Okay, so for the records, the minutes of 8 June 2023 are now adopted. Any other one, Mr. That's it. Okay, thank you. Okay, now for the lunch, I guess we come back at on time at 2 o'clock, right? Is it 2 o'clock? Yeah. Yeah, 2 p.m.
See you at 2 o'clock. Okay, bye.